Back-to-back wins in Super League for the first time this summer, and a big night for David Hume as he trots out onto the Wilderspool ground for the first time in Leeds colours. Played for a decade for Widnes, and his brother will come out with this Warrington side, making his home debut, and there he is. Two experienced campaigners. David played for Widnes, 780 appearances between them. Paul also, of course, a former Widnes man. Part of the triumphs of the 80s and 90s. First time ever that the two brothers have been in opposition to each other at any time in their illustrious careers. So big night for the Hume family, just as it's a big night for the two clubs. Warrington have Harris at full-back, Forster, Rudd, Roper and Henare, Coe Love and Swan. It's Hilton, Watson, Jones, Hume, Cullen and Sculthorpe. And on the bench, Finau, Barrow, Bennett and Knott, coach John Dorahy. Leeds, Mayer, Golden, Clark, Hall, Hassan, Kemp and Holroyd. Forwards, Harman, Hume, McDermott, Morley, Mann, Mercer is the loose forward. And on the bench, Tate, Forshaw, Newton and Familo. The coach is Dean Bell. Tonight's match referee, Stuart Cummings, who hasn't had far to travel to get here to Warrington for this match. A game that is being played in the most glorious conditions. It's a lovely summer's evening here. Great to see the crowd in shirt sleeves. We really do have summer rugby now. And Iestyn Harris playing tonight at full-back gets us underway. And Adrian Morley runs the ball out. First tackle comes in. Cullen and Mark Hilton leading the way for that tackle.
Be interesting to see how Iestyn Harris handles the full-back position. It's obviously a tactical ploy by John Dorahy, the Warrington coach, because he feels, I'm sure, that Leeds in their kick and chase game is not up to scratch, and that will give Harris plenty of room to weave his magic, and he's weaved plenty of that this season.
Iestyn Harris shielding his eyes at the moment as he watches that storming tackle. Harris way behind the play. He's just inside his own quarter. The play at the moment in the other end of the field. The kick from Holroyd, and Harris read the situation perfectly, picks it up and will run the ball back. He knew that deep kick was coming, and there's Carl Hall in quickly for the tackle, and held out there also by David Hume.
Pretty high one. He certainly made good contact, that is for sure. Carl Hall, the big centre, he went in crunch time. Welcome to the first opening minutes in this Super League clash. Leeds mean business.
Oh, strong tackle coming in there from George Mann on Richard Henare, who looked as though he'd escaped the first challenge, and Hilton breaks through the tacklers up the middle, but George Mann comes in and drops on him, the grounded player. Now Sculthorpe had a magnificent debut for England on Wednesday. Little interference by Mann. The Warrington crowd appeal for the penalty, none forthcoming. Here's the captain, Cullen. He gets it to Toa Coe Love. Coe Love out wide to Henare. Henare's off down the wing, trying to take the fullback outside. Now then, decision here for referee, touch judge. The post went down. Warrington are celebrating, and I think Stuart Cummings wisely will go for the screen to take another look at this, and he's handed it on to the video ref.
I think we'll find that he gets it down before there's any problem, but did he get the fingertip and the full control? His feet didn't touch the whitewash. Well, he does lose it. It's up to the video ref now. Contentious, this one. I think they'll find that he lost control. He didn't have control getting the ball down. He got his fingertips to it eventually, but he certainly left the hand. That's the point where it left his hand, and then he got it down. Oh, this is a tough one. But what great play by Toa Coe Love. Playing at standoff for the first time. It's a beautiful switch to the blind side and sent Henare way through the gap.
Steve-O, it's obviously a big decision for the video ref. The players are all looking at the screen. The crowd's looking at the screen. And Iestyn Harris has lined up the conversion attempt.
Well,
he's waiting to take the kick at goal.
He's having to deem whether he was in full control of it. Now you can juggle the ball and then go over, but whilst in the action of placing the ball down, that is a big question. It's a tough call, this.
Right. Love is watching in the screen. Here comes the decision. We're all waiting. It's obviously taking the video ref an eternity to make his mind up.
Well, we've only got back a couple of weeks when Smith, the Castleford winger, had a try disallowed in much the same fashion.
Crowd are getting impatient. They're waiting for the decision. Here it comes. No try given. Leeds celebrate. Love can't believe it. Neither can Iestyn Harris, who was lining up the conversion attempt, but he lost control of the ball, Steve-O, no doubt.
Well, he lost the ball, but what do you deem as regaining control? If you fumble and re-catch it, you don't classify it as a knock-on, but it is a different ruling when you're in the action of placing the ball for a try, and it's gone against them.
So, video ref taking an eternity, but that's what he's there for, to make his decision, make the judgment on the pictures that he sees. We use the modern technology and we want to get it right, and the video ref is certainly with us every inch of the way as far as that's concerned, I'm sure. No score then at Wilderspool. Interesting start. High-hanging kick from Tony Kemp. Tester for Harris. Looks like he's played full-back all his life.
Good tactics as well. Harris looking into the sun, but he did take it well there. He's a pretty solid footballer. He's played a few times in the full-back position, so he's not a stranger to it. But the one thing that Leeds have got to start looking for is tightening this defence. The way that Love split them with a long pass is going to cause them problems.
Hilton with the drive up towards the halfway line. Steve-O, just going back to that decision by the video ref, my mind goes back to the night at Castleford and the game, of course, that went very much Warrington's way on modern technology, and we said that night it has a habit of evening itself out.
Yeah, well, at least the video refs are consistent. It would have been an uproar around Castleford area if that try would have been given. Oh, bad mistake there. Marvin Golden knows that he's made a big boo-boo. They're applying the pressure to themselves. Good defence, though.
So the referee, Stuart Cummins, puts the scrum down after the mistake by Marvin Golden. And the referee trying to tidy up the scrum. Willie Swan feeds, finds Harris, who has chimed in here. This is Rudd.
Well, it's obviously at the set piece and at the scrums that Iestyn Harris will take the standoff position. You saw him take the first goal then.
Mark Forster almost through. Good tackling back by Clark and Hume. Here's Willie Swan. Short ball to Mark Jones. Henari was steaming up looking for the short ball off him. Cullen gets it away again. John Roper is held 3 metres short of the line. Chances here. Oh, that's tremendous play from Watson and good defence from Leeds. Swan dabs the ball across the face and it's picked up over on that far side, and it's Phil Hassan.
Took it well, but he got one for his corner. It was a pretty high one going over the top of the shoulders. Referee Cummings says play on, but that is great defence. Jones leading the way. Sculthorpe, as always, involved.
Now George Mann had such a big game, remember, against Wigan just a couple of weeks ago, and Mercer now slugging it out toe-to-toe with Sculthorpe. Certainly gets through a ton of work, does the young Sculthorpe. Now McDermott.
Pretty solid defence from Warrington. They're moving extremely quickly.
Kemp again. Leeds have certainly missed him. That's a good kick downfield. That will force Harris to run the ball out, and the chasers have arrived, led by Kemp and Morley. And Morley gets to the Welshman, but it's the zero tackle for Harris and Warrington.
Well, Warrington thought perhaps the kick and chase from Leeds would be weak, but not on that occasion. But it was a good job that Kemp and Morley was two. They were the only two real chasers. You really have got to start looking for the wingers to do that job.
Forster plays the ball. That looked high on Hilton.
Mercer going far too high again. Well, there's been a few that's been borderline. And the patience is tested, but it's a big one as well. Mercer with a swinging arm. Well, we always knew it was going to be tough. Leeds on a roll, they say. That's what the fans have been saying, seeing as they won last week. So it's a roll of some fashion.
Yes, they beat Workington. It was a vital match for them in Cumbria. If they'd have lost then, they'd have been at the bottom of the table. As it is, their third bottom. Warrington fourth top. Watson the dummy half. Here comes Hilton again, and Carl Hall's attempted tackle just went over the top of his head.
Well, a big centre, Carl Hall, he's walking the tightrope. That's the second time he's gone swinging.
And good tackling there by David Hume on his brother Paul. Not for the first time, I think. Those two will come into direct conflict today. Penalty. George Mann laying on the tackle player.
Taking all the time in the world. Big Adrian Morley and Mann involved.
They resisted the temptation to take the kick at goal, Warrington. So here they come again with the big man Hilton. Always willing to drive it in where it hurts. Jones now will do the same, straight up the middle, the Welsh international.
Keep your eye out now for Harris coming in from the full-back position. He'll probably come off Koa Love.
They're going away from him, though. They get the pass away to Swan. That's the third tackle gone for Warrington. Now here's Mark Forster, pass fit to play in this match only after a training session last night. Forster. Here's Swan again. And Sculthorpe, and he steps off the right foot and goes up the middle. Good tackling again by David Hume. Chris Watson at dummy half. Swan again.
Good defence there.
Terrific defence.
Yeah, Dean Clark making sure that the ball carrier couldn't get it out. It's on the last one. They went for the power play.
Offside against Warrington. They crept up at the play of the ball, too eager.
Chris Watson leading the charge. There was quite a few that they could pick upon.
Referee Stuart Cummins has just shouted to the Warrington players, I want you standing with me at the play of the ball. I don't want you standing in front.
Well, it's been a torrid opening to this game. But the best thing that Leeds can do is take a big breather, a sigh of relief that they didn't have points put on against them, and just work themselves back into this game.
3 penalties so far. Warrington have had 2. Phil Hassan trying to get past those 3, unable to do so. David Hume to Holroyd. He helps it wide to Kemp, and Kemp brings Carl Hall in up the middle. Good tackling, though, by Paul Cullen.
Spotted it well, didn't he? He knew that the big fellow was coming back on the inside. But at Leeds are trying to run the angles and bring someone back in the opposite direction. But this Warrington defence is extremely solid.
Dink over the top by Holroyd. Chase here from Clark, but the ball beat them all and found touch. Dean Clark was steaming up for that chip over.
Good option as well by Leeds. Clark was chasing through, but it was just a little bit too strong from Holroyd. And they're the sort of tactics that will trouble this Warrington defence. It's the only way you'll break them down when they're moving up so quickly. Warrington quite often early in the tackle do not have a sweeper, so it's worth the gamble.
That's good play from the scrum from Morley. He shot out to haul Paul Sculthorpe down. International colleagues on Wednesday, like the Hume brothers, on opposite side of the fence here tonight, of course. Good tackling by Neil Harmon and George Mann. Harris now, long ball, out wide it comes. Lovely step from Koa Love. and the support arrives from Harris, who launched this attack, and here goes Harris. He slipped, and it was able to be brought to ground completely by Kemp and Clark. Watson, Swan, Sculthorpe, and good tackling by Neil Harmon, former Warrington man, of course, the Leeds prop forward. High kick, and he took one for his corner then, did Willie Swan, under pressure from Kemp. Nothing comes from it though. Leeds defused the bomb behind their own line.
Oh, good play by Hall. Uses upper body strength there, just bounced them out of the way. But what a start to this game from Coe Love. Playing in the standoff position for the first time, to my knowledge. He's making a good fist of it.
And this is Hassan. He was collared first of all by Forster, who forced him out of the field of play. Touch judge's flag shot up immediately.
Well, he made a mistake there and just kicked out the left leg, and it just touched the whitewash. And that was enough. Well spotted by the touch judge, but it was good defence from Forster. Well, it's a rugged affair. Warrington having two clear-cut chances, and Leeds will be quite happy to have a scoreline at 0-0.
Ball came out of the scrum, it was perfectly legal, but Adrian Morley came out with it. This now is Coe Love. Coe Love has got support from Roper, delays the pass, and Roper gets in. Roper gets home between the posts, no doubt about that. And this remarkable run of form from John Roper, the man whose career was threatened when his knee had to be reconstructed, goes on.
Well, we mentioned that Coe Love was having an absolute ball out there, but he's went out into the centre position. He wasn't tight in a standoff role, but he's got the speed, the step, and also the vision. He just jummied the ball, waited for Roper to get into a better position, and bang, straight underneath the sticks. But this is all skill. Harris had come up from the full-back into the standoff position. He moves out into the centre. That's where the gap came. It was great play. Toa Coe Love, sensational player this season, and so is Roper, back to his best after injury.
Yestin Harris from bang in front adds the extra 2. Warrington ahead 6 points to 0, and Yestin Harris playing at full back tonight. Of course, Lee Penny is still out suspended. Warrington have used no fewer than 4 men in covering the problem full-back berth, while Penny has been out suspended. Harris with the conversion, and Harris is about to restart this match with his team ahead by 6 points to 0. Well, a start that we have come to expect here at Wilderspool, Steve-O. They have been pretty thrilling affairs every time we've come here this season.
Well, let's also take our hat off as well to the coach, John Dorey, for making that move, Yestin Harris to fall back and putting in Toa Coe Love, and it's working. They are switching positions. Harris coming from full-back, taking first man. Long ball out wide. Coe Love switching from centre field, going into the centres. Dear me, it is confusing, this Leeds defence. He's having a great game.
Good play, though, from McDermott. He got the ball away to David Hume, and then over the top comes Chris Watson. And when Hume was tackled on the floor, Watson flopped on him.
Silly play. Could see that, all right, he committed himself, but he could see that the man had been stopped. Watson trying to explain to Cummings that momentum took me there, sir. Stay off it. No flops.
Holroyd's penalty then. Graham Holroyd, who scored a try, and 2 tries rather, and 8 goals against Workington. It was his best kicking effort in Super League. This is Mercer, another former Warrington man. Gets the pass away to Clark, but it was a poor ball, and Clark really couldn't wheel it in.
It was an awful pass from Mercer. At least Clark did bend and try to get it on the half volley, but the impact there from Swan also helped.
Forster picks himself up, plays the ball. Watson gets it away to Mark Hilton. Watson again. This time it's Harris, and now Coe Love brings Roper back on the inside. Harris called for it, and he was watched all the way by Adrian Morley. Cullen, the captain at dummy half. Willie Swan Sculthorpe bounces off one tackle.
That was forward. But great play by Warrington. They're keeping this ball alive. Sculthorpe did well to get out of the first set of tackle and keep the ball away. They just couldn't get to it. It was just a fraction in front. Exciting times with Warrington. They are playing outstanding football.
Holroyd will feed the scrum, gets the possession back. This now is Carl Hall. Carl Hall will be delighted to be back in the side, the 1987 junior Kiwi. Golden plays the ball to David Hume, and this is Neil Harmon. Crashes through one tackle. Good run, strong run from the Leeds skipper. David Hume playing at hooker tonight. Oh, and they all went without the ball. Good job for Leeds that George Mann was there and alert. Still Mann, he's quite something to pull down the big Kiwi, or is he now a Tongan? Kemp, he's definitely a Kiwi. Lovely ball, Mercer drops it. Coelove picks up the pieces. Warrington can relaunch with Henare.
Well, it was super play by Kemp. And Mercer just dropped the ball with no pressure applied upon him. Well, they're becoming the worst enemy, but the touch judge has come in, seen something on the far side, an off-the-ball incident. It's been pretty fiery.
And McDermott and Sculthorpe just tangling as the referee blew the whistle to hold the play up. And the referee is pulling a Leeds player out. Adrian Morley, I think he wants a word with.
Indication that a knee has been used.
And the head, he's saying. Morley gets a ticking off and Warrington get the penalty.
Well, that won't help their cause. Giving away silly penalties.
Use of the knee was the signal by Stuart Cummings.
Losing concentration. Discipline is a big part in our game these days. You can't afford to just give penalties away like that.
Well, the contests between these two are always pretty close, but here goes Roper again, who's in the mood. He's broken through Mayer, and Roper gets a second. Well, he just brushed away the challenge from the fullback, Lee Mayer, walked right through him, and John Roper gets his second. Tremendous stuff from Roper. He's in a rich vein of form, isn't he?
Great stuff, but it was created from the hooker, Willie Swan, then bang, straight into it. Good run from the dummy half position, sent the man away. He had all the strength and the speed. Jonathan Roper, one of the big battle men that we picked out before the game. Super stuff, though, from a hooker, Chris Watson. He drew Mercer, sent the big fella away, who gleefully goes over for his second.
John Roper's second try for Warrington. And Roper's 8th try of the season. Iestyn Harris 1 from 1, just sheltering his eyes from this bright sunlight and doing well enough to find the correct mark. Slices the conversion over the top of the crossbar. Warrington are ahead 12-0.
Good run on the dummy side there by the hooker Watson. And once he drew in Mercer, bang, off he went. But look at the step here and the strength. Get out of the way. He's in fine form.
Dean Bell watching from the stands here at Wilderspool with his side again trailing by 12 points to 0 after a quarter of this match. Leeds, it's been a miserable season so far for them, but what a turnaround in fortunes under John Dorahy here at Wilderspool. They lost their 4th match from 11 in Super League last week, but after their shocking centenary year, that is quite a turnaround in fortunes. McDermott. Stern defence from this Warrington side, Steve-o. They are very much up for this.
Well, they would have been given the rounds of the kitchen by their coach Dorey after they lost to Oldham last week.
Better run though from Carl Hall. He's collared in the end by Coe Love. Marvin Golden comes in at dummy half, spins the ball into the arms of Kemp. He finds Holroyd with a lovely long pass. Another long pass out wide to Clark. Rudd with the tackle. They keep the ball alive though. And Holroyd again releases it, and again, and it's Mercer who will hit a crossfield ball straight into the stands.
Well, that is a sign of a player who doesn't normally kick a football. Far too strong, under a lot of pressure, trying to run the last, using the power play. Shake of the head, nose. There's Mercer, and it wasn't the best kick. But a good run from the centre, Carl Hall. That would have lifted their spirits, but the big problem was there was no support, and that's a flop by McDermott.
Yes, he dropped on the prone body of Paul Hume, Barry McDermott, and the referee blew the whistle immediately. Well, they can do without that, Steve-O, frankly.
Well, it's sheer stupidity. All the hard work from the second rower, Adrian Morley, who does the effort, and a prop forward comes along and flops and gives away another 30, 40 metres. Lack of discipline. It's been a big problem for the Leeds outfit this season.
Watson gets the game back in motion again, and Hilton with the first drive at this Leeds defence. Halted then by Mercer. There's Watson again. Now it's Mark Jones. Jones, who no doubt will figure prominently in Clive Griffith's plans for the England international. Watson's ball bounced off the chest of Cullen, I think it was. He was under some pressure, Cullen, but took his eye off the ball at the last minute. The referee shouts that he's held.
You see that Cullen just had a little glance at the oncoming tackler.
David Hume to Holroyd and Kemp. Kemp to Mann, out wide to Clark. Clark has got Chris Rudd after him, and they're playing Chris Rudd in the centres today to try and tighten up their defence, which I'm told was pretty woeful against Oldham last weekend.
Well, it's working. Chris Rudd, you could see there, just offering the outside to the centre Clark.
Ball in field, and this is David Hume. Gets the pass away to Kemp. Kemp gets the ball away to Harman. Neil Harman charging for the line, and he gets there and he gets the ball down as he twists. Tries given by Stuart Cummings, and Neil Harman, against his former club, picks up his first in Super League. The captain playing the captain's role.
One man who can change the tide is Tony Kemp. Switch back on the inside. They kept it alive well. Hume kept it there, and Kemp threw the dummy on the inside. And you could see that Toa Koe-Love was sucked in, and the big fella went over for a vital try. They needed that. Hume offloaded. See how he used the dummy. He used Mercer coming back on the inside. Determined run there. Neil Harman gets Leeds back into this game. It will please their coach, no end.
Dean Bell on the right, Hugh McGann on the left. The coaching duo at Leeds have seen their captain go in for what might be a priceless try. Well, as I said earlier, Graham Holroyd coming into this match after his 8 goals last week against Warrington, and he gets the first of his goals here tonight to put Leeds right back in the hunt. It's 12-6.
There you see how the defender gets sucked into Kemp, and once they move in, there's an enormous gap, and the prop forward gets into top gear, lifting the big legs, bang. There's nothing that Harris can do about this. He's very strong in the upper body region, and Neil Harman will be happy with that.
146 appearances for Warrington before joining Leeds for £75,000 in 1993, Neil Harman. Right, let's have a word pitch side with Bill, because Leeds apparently have made a change.
Yes, Barry McDermott has come off, and he's been replaced by number 17, Eseni Faimalo. So he makes his first appearance for getting on for 10 months for Leeds, having